When it comes to wholesaling, there's a couple of things that you have to be aware of. The first thing you want to be aware of is the laws in your state. Recently, they have been trying to fight and make wholesaling illegal. In some states, you now are required to have a real estate license to do any type of wholesale transactions. Then you also have commercial harassment. What does commercial harassment mean? If you make an offer to a homeowner and they reject it, you are not allowed to contact that homeowner for 6 months. So you got to make sure that you're aware of the laws so that you don't put yourself into any type of hot water, any lawsuits when you're first getting started. The second thing is you have to understand that a wholesaling company is a sales and marketing company. You have to get good at sales and marketing and direct to homeowner. That's the only way you're going to really become successful. I know you hear a lot of gurus say that you don't need money to start wholesaling, and that's true to some points. To be consistent though, you will need money. As you make these profits, you have to make sure that you reinvest them back into the company. You got to delay the gratification. Don't go buying things that you don't really need. You got to invest that money back in the company to make it grow to a 6 or 7 figure company, whichever you choose to do. But make sure that you know from the beginning that wholesaling is a sales and marketing company. The next thing is you have to know your numbers. You'll be surprised how many emails I get from wholesalers that the numbers are way off. I'll get a property in my email, in my inbox. I look at it, they'll have the rehab being $50,000, the rehab is $150,000. I'm gonna tell you why it's extremely important to know your numbers. For me, when I get an email from a wholesaler and the numbers are way off, I'm gonna block you, I'm gonna remove you, unsubscribe from your list, whatever it is, because you don't know the numbers on the property, and then what you're doing is you're wasting my time. A lot of these big buyers, especially if you're talking to hedge funds and big companies, they only want leads and deals in their pipeline that make sense. So make sure that you know the numbers. Invest in some education that's gonna teach you how to properly calculate a rehab. If you're using PropStream, if you're using certain softwares, they have rehab calculators that can give you kind of a ballpark. So make sure you know your numbers before you go blasting your deals out that are not deals. Sorry. Next thing is you have to know your buyer's criteria. Every investor has a different percentage of return on the investment that they want to make. Some investors want to make 20%, some investors want to make 15%, some investors want to make 10%, especially the ones that are doing a large volume that may have 10 flips going on at one time. They'll take less money. So you want to know these numbers, because if a particular buyer wants 20% on their money, don't send them a deal that's only a 10% profit margin. Because what's going to happen is they're going to think that you don't know your numbers and they're going to stop responding to your emails. I talk to wholesalers all the time, and the first thing they say is, well, I got 50,000 buyers on my list and you can't sell your deal. That means your numbers are off. So make sure you know your buyer's criteria. Send each buyer that you have an email and just ask them, what areas are you interested in? What type of return on investment? What ARVs are you trying to stay around? And that's going to make you look like you know what you're doing. And then when you send out a deal, you know you send it to the right person. So please make sure you know your buyer's criteria and don't go blasting it to everybody. Another thing, with wholesaling, if you want to be successful, you want to stay in this business for long term, you have to have different strategies. You have a cash sale, which is in most cases going to be the cheapest amount you're going to offer them, right? If you have a $300,000 ARV, you're probably going to have to offer them $150,000. And what this is going to do is going to get you cursed out, it's going to get you hung up on, and they're not going to want to deal with you, right? Then you can also have a subject to deal, where you find a particular client that is in foreclosure. You would come in and take over the existing mortgage. They would convey the deed over to you. You would then give them a couple of $1,000s to move, maybe help them with a moving truck to get them into the next location. And then you would renovate the property, put it on the market, and list it. And the third thing that you might want to look into, and not a lot of people know about it, but it's called a novation deal. With a novation deal, that's basically like where you would come in and have a threshold for a minimum budget. These are mostly on houses that are younger, not older houses, where you could come in, basically invest $10,000, clean it up, paint it, carpet, and then you would be able to list the property. deal with the agents, deal with the new buyers and everything, and the person that you're doing the service for is completely hands off. So if I was you, I'd definitely take a look at to Novations and make sure you have different exit strategies. So each deal you can make some type of money, because in our company, what we want to be is a transactional company. So if somebody wants to sell their house, we want to assist them. So you want to definitely have different strategies, and that's going to make it easier for you to make more money. Mentors. A lot of people and wholesalers, they don't want to invest into mentors. Mentors are going to cut your learning curve. This year alone, I spent a little bit over $100,000 on mentors. It's the first time I ever done that. When I first came into the game, I came in under a mentor. At the time, I didn't have the money to pay him, so I bartered services with him, right? I learned a lot from them. So I would say if you're getting into the business, you're going to start with courses. Start with courses. That's going to probably be the cheapest thing. You get courses from anywhere from $100 to $5,000. Study that course and then try to get under a mentor, somebody that's in the position to be where you want to be, right? It's going to cut the learning curve. You're going to save yourself hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars, because they already went through all of the problems you're going to go through. So please make sure that you continue your education, don't stop learning, and lean on mentors to get you to where you need to be. But make sure you pick the right mentor, because a lot of mentors, and there's a lot of people out there calling themselves mentors, but they're not actually doing the business. You want to make sure that they're doing the business. If they say that they're fixing and flipping, you want to go to some of their projects. If they say that they're Airbnb, and you want to go to look at some of their projects. Make sure you know who you're dealing with, do your due diligence, and use a mentor, please. Wholesaling is just the intro to get into real estate. You don't want to get caught up wholesaling for a decade or 2 decades. The way you're going to build wealth is to wholesale, take that money, and invest it into assets that's going to produce cash flow for you. So my rule of thumb is if you're wholesaling, if you got the money and you're spending the money on marketing, every 5 deals that you wholesale, keep one. If you do this for 5 years, and let's say you're doing 2 deals, 3 deals, 5, 10 deals a month, you're going to gain anywhere from 6 to 10 rentals per year. That's going to build cash flow for you. When you start to pick up rentals, what you want to do is you want to set a threshold. You want to say, hey, on an average rental, I'm going to make $500 or $1,000, right, a month. After expenses, after the mortgage is paid, any type of maintenance that might have to be done, and then just come up with the number. If you're making $500 off of a rental and you want to make $10,000 a month passive, you need 20 rentals. But don't get caught up into wholesaling 50 deals, 100 deals a year and not have any rentals. You're going to pay for that in the long term. When you see everybody else with 100 houses, 1,000 houses portfolio, and they're able to live the lifestyle, whether they flip anymore or wholesale anymore. So make sure that you invest into assets, and that is going to build wealth. That's the true meaning of wealth. Once again, I hope this video was resourceful. Make sure that you click the subscribe button. Make sure you turn on the bell notifications and hit that thumb so YouTube can boost the algorithm. More people like yourself that's trying to become a wholesaler. I'm going to drop consistent content. Follow me, Seamus Goss, on Instagram, on Facebook, and much success to everybody.